Hello, and all right, let's get started. This is my very first video and upload for this channel. This is a brand new channel, and this is called Garage Junk Review. And I was inspired by this amazing game, and I love this game. I was motivated to make the channel and do reviews because I had a really disappointing and discouraging experience with another game. But because of that game, I was led to discover this game. So it all worked out for the best. I discovered this game, I downloaded it, started playing it, and I immediately started loving it. I always liked the classic SimCity, and because of that, I have to give a big shout out to the developers who made this game. I never did play the original City Skylines, but I did start this one, and I really like it. So let's get into it. Alright, so anyway, I've been playing with kind of cheating. I've been playing with unlimited money, so I definitely don't have the patience to, well, at least not yet, play with a limited resources. Because I just like to build. To give a little backstory, originally I started playing SimCity BuildIt and on my phone, and I was frustrated because I just couldn't build the city that I really wanted to build, and that's going to be saved for a later video, I think. Not that I think, I'm actually working on it right now. That was going to be my first video, was to make the review and critique of SimCity BuildIt, but I think to start off, because at this channel I'm just starting this brand new, I'm just gonna kind of play through, kind of talk about like why I love the game and certain things about it, and then maybe do other episodes of all the challenges and problems that I've come across playing this game, and then maybe that'll help some of you if you're playing, or if you want to play, when you start building, maybe give you some advice and show you some tricks or some things that you need to be aware of when you're building, because I've encountered many issues in this game. So anyway, I was playing SimCity BuildIt, and I was noticing that I just couldn't build, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, I kept getting caught up with the factories and building these random, stores and other factories, and then it felt like runaround type of deal, where in order to get this, in order to build this, I needed to make this, and in order to make this, I needed to make this, and in order to make this, I needed to make this. And I was talking to another friend of mine who played similar games, and it's like these companies, they use like popular franchises to reel in fans to play a completely different game than the whole purpose and point, I don't know, the original franchise, what the game should be or what it's supposed to be. What I'm trying to say is SimCity BuildIt is not a real builder, and I will be making a whole documentary video on that by itself, but I did want to just start off by playing Cities Skylines 2, this game, like what I like about it, what I love about it, and then other things that are challenging and whatnot and annoying. Obviously, I have infinity money, So I don't have that challenge of like not being able to build fast. But you know what? Sometimes having infinity money isn't good, because I think it is possible to build too fast. And what I mean by that is the game, you start encountering problems like, for example, I got all this air pollution just in this section of the city, and I guess I should have started with this, but I chose the Rochester Map, I think is what the game calls it. And it's basically North America, probably East Coast-ish. And it's basically, it has a lot of rain. It goes through the seasons. You got the inland areas, and you got a bunch of islands off on the coast. And let's see. So what I did is I kind of did like a little bit inspired by San Francisco, Oakland, Bay Area type bridges and stuff. So if you know the Bay Area, there's a lot of bridges, there's a lot of harbors, there's a lot of ports. And then I was also inspired by New York, even though I've never been there. But they have an extensive and expansive subway system, even though in the Bay Area we have the BART system, which is the Bay Area Rapid Transit. Same thing, subway. So I loved in this game, by the way, that you could create all the bus routes, the subway routes, and just if you go to transportation and you go to the subways, it's pretty cool because you can see all the routes. Build all your custom stations and routes. So I got a subway station here. I think this is an above ground subway station. Let me see. I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first video. So yeah, this is the above ground station. If you click on it, you can see the route that it has here. I think I have one route, the industrial line, or maybe two. Endpoint line and industrial line. And then if you go to the other, the rest of them will be actually underground. So like this is underground mode, this is subway mode, so it's going to show all the stations underground. If you zoom in, it's actually under the street. So, and the subway terminal is like right here, so all the people can go. You can see all the people going into the subway station to take a train. And most of the streets are pre-named in the game. They automatically just give it a random name. However, I have went through and custom named a lot of them. So for example, Broadway, I named Tiny Market Street under here. Like if you zoom in, the reason why I called it Tiny Market is because underneath the freeway I created parking lots, and then in the parking lot I set up all these custom little markets. That's why that's called Tiny Market. Anyway, pointless information, really. I don't know who really cares. But wow, this is the problem when you have population over 500,000. It's gonna start chopping. at least unless you have like a really buff computer. I'm just using a laptop, which is a pretty nice, decent new laptop, but the game still is kind of chunky, and it might have something to do with the fact that I'm recording. I don't know, but I have it on. My settings are the most optimal, I think, for performance, as long as I'm not bouncing around enough. But I do want the graphics to be decent. I don't like the setting where it's like medium graphics, because if you set that, then everything looks like crap. Like right now, everything's rendered pretty decent. Not the best, but it's definitely pretty good. Anyway, I think we got sidetracked. I was showing the subway system, and what I like about the train, subway system, all the transportation systems really, is that you can build all your routes custom to any street, basically. Obviously you have to plan well, because what I didn't know when I started building my city, I didn't know I could build a subway system. So basically I had to, condemn buildings and build over them, and just like basically demolish buildings to install subway systems, which wasn't that big of a deal. It's like, okay, it's not the end of the world if you have to demolish a building or condemn a zone and then rebuild it. But I do have subways going to just about every part of my main city. I'm still developing, obviously, but I do love that aspect. If you go to the trains, I have train station and train tracks. You can build those routes as well. I have a cargo harbor. You have a cargo harbor here, and the train route is connected, so they load up the cargo train at the cargo harbor. So they offload cargo just like a real harbor, and then it goes on the train. And the train, I built my track to go underneath the ground, and then in between the freeway, and then over to a small train station and a rail yard where they can work on trains and cars and store them and stuff. And then my rail yard goes out and then continues to go throughout, and then branches off here. Another track will go to another train station and on the other side of the city, and then the other train track goes underground, way deep under the water, and then it pops up underneath the freeway, in between the freeway on this side, and then the other split branches out over this way and goes to the international airport, which I just built like not too long ago. I tried not to build all the fancy stuff right away. I wanted my city to be big enough, so I tried to make things as realistic as I could, but also with some chaos, some planned and some not. So what I mean by that is, I wanted my city to be realistic, to have like real infrastructure problems, as in, like, cities always start out planning the best they possibly can, or at least planning it for the time, and then later on run into issues and problems and challenges as far as like you can map out the best blocks possible or think that you're like making a neighborhood make sense. And then you realize, okay, I built too much here. Now I need to build a school. Now I need to build a hospital. Where am I going to put this crematorium? You know? And you got all these different services. So when you go to healthcare, for example, I have a lot of different hospitals spread out throughout the city. And my hospital availability is okay, but my crematorium availability isn't. So I'm actually not doing too good with that. And so then I have to go here and build more crematoriums. And if you go to one of them, for example, one that I have is over here. Let's see, do I have it under the freeway? Yeah, sort of. I like to put like the not so attractive things underneath my freeway. And I built my freeway. I don't recommend this for every city, but for this one, I kind of did. But I like to build my unattractive things near the freeway or under them so that they're just kind of, it's like dead space anyway, the space under the freeway. I built my freeways a little too high in the beginning. If I had to do it again, I might not build them 50 meters high. It's a little ridiculous. But the upside is I don't waste any space because I'm able to build underneath them and put parking lots, other streets, connect streets. So there's an advantage to elevating your freeways. I have a whole freeway loop basically inspired by the city of Sacramento, the real city of Sacramento, has a interstate loop that goes around the entire city and then connects all the other interstate freeways and highways. I'll show that later, but right now, basically, Crematorium has these add-ons that you can do. I'm not going to get into any specifics, really, but basically you want to add as many hearse garages as possible around your crematorium, and when you add them, there's a certain radius that you have to keep your, a certain area that you have to keep your hearse garages in, close to and around the crematorium. And if I add one, you can make it snap to the street or snap to a building. Sometimes I turn snap off so that I can get more exact and really get in here and like rotate it and get it exactly the way that I want. But usually if you snap to street, that's pretty good. You see how it will leave that little area to the right side empty? If you turn snap off, you can actually get all the way up to the street on the other side and fill that whole space. And then you save a half a square, a half a unit. I mean, that's getting really nitpicky. But if you just want to snap to street and make sure it's on the street, doing it this way is okay too. But you do waste space, just FYI. So but you can lay down a new, whatchamacallit, hearse garage for the crematorium. And then that way you can house more hearses, you can dispatch more hearses, and then your crematorium could be more efficient. Right now, this one's pretty efficient. It's running at 95%. That's pretty good. It has full employees, and it's not at capacity. It could house a maximum of 45, and it's only got 20. So, but overall, basically, I do not have enough crematoriums built. Obviously, it says crematorium availability. I'm kind of hovering around the midway point and I'm less than capacity. So I'm handling about 1,700 deceased, and there are, at least 70 more deaths that I'm not handling. So when you zoom out and you see um, the little bubbles that have a hearse next to it, that's basically a dead body that's not being picked up. So waiting for a hearse. Hearse has not arrived, despite one having been called quite a while ago. I don't really understand, you know, how the algorithms are and the programming is with these. But I don't know. To solve this issue immediately, um, I mean, I could build another hearse garage or just completely build a whole new crematorium. And I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll go to the healthcare, deathcare. Yep, I'll just build another crematorium really fast underneath the freeway again. Where under the freeway is the question. Let's choose a place that's... And obviously, the surrounding buildings will go like, oh, thumbs down, because they don't want a dead body cremation factory right next to them, which is understandable. But at the same time, these are just offices. It's not like they're homes. So I don't really care that much if they don't like it, because we need it. So, I'm going to... What is this? Cemetery. Okay, we don't need a cemetery. We just need the crematorium right now. And so once I've built it, like I said, I usually build them under the freeway. You know what I can do to appease the offices is I can move it and then build another street in, which is a little much, but just for the sake of, trying to please more people, I am going to put it back this way, completely under the freeway, and see if that helps. It's not much further, really, so I don't know if that even will matter. But usually what I do is if I build something away from the main road, I'll use this small, narrow 2-lane road without sidewalks to just build small roads that just need to connect. And the problem with this is now I've created extra space that doesn't really need to be there. Also, one thing to keep in mind is when you build a small road that connects to a main road, it creates a whole new stoplight. And I don't really think crosswalks and stoplights are necessary for small roads. So, not always, right? So I go to the road services, I go to the lights, and then I right click and get rid of them, because you don't need to slow up traffic on a main road just for a small little road that's hardly ever going to be used. And I haven't seen a ton of accidents happen because of that. So it's a small detail, but it actually matters, because random traffic will happen. And I don't know if you just noticed that, but a subway, it shows transparency when you build, and the subway just went by. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, now that that's a little further away, I don't even know if they noticed or cared, but at least it's not right next to them, and it's closer to the industrial side of the freeway. I could build the crematorium over here in this empty lot, but I don't. I just want it to be I want the hearses to be closer to the main part of the city so that someone actually gets there and picks up the damn body. Right? So eventually a hearse is going to go pick up that body that's been sitting there for a while. and that's good. And I'm going to click and then upgrade. You can store more bodies with the extended storage. Boom. And then more space for hearses. Oh yeah, the additional incinerator. Watch. Now watch. All the thumbs down. Oh no, everybody liked it. Okay, great. So everybody's happy. I thought I was gonna see a bunch of thumbs down because they're like, oh no, it's gonna smell like more dead bodies. All right, and then now I'm gonna build. I should probably build little roads first before plotting down things. But if you can line them up nicely, you can kind of guess where they're gonna be. I typically don't like to build a building that has attachments, upgrades. I don't like to build a building that has upgrades and attachments. Like for example, I built this crematorium in between these freeway posts. So these pillars are kind of blocking me from attaching my other buildings around it. If I go to another crematorium, so you see here, I built my crematorium under the freeway, same thing, but I was able to connect most of my garages directly to the building. So not most of them, but I connected 2 of them directly to the building, and then the other 2 are off on the other side of the concrete pillars of the freeway. But, you know, ideally I would like to have enough space to just connect all the buildings to the main building, but you can just connect it in the general area, because when you go here, it gives you, like I said before, it gives you that area that you can build and attach more. So if I wanted to, I could put more hearse garages over here on this side. And since it's next to the police headquarters, I really don't care if there's more hearse garages next to that. But I might decide that I want to build something else here, and I might not want those hearse garages there, so I might bulldoze them later on at some point. But this is just as an example. If I go back to this other one, what I'm probably going to do is I'll make this street come down. And I like to make sure it's 90 degrees all the time, even if the other line isn't 90 degrees. Sometimes it's not always possible to get 90 degrees. It's either 90 degrees or 180, because 180 is 90 degrees doubled. But if you do that, if you keep your things and if it won't let you do 90 degrees, you can turn snap off and just do it. And then obviously that box, yeah, it's a curvature line now at the elbow. Once it goes square, 90 degrees is square. That just creates for neater and nicer zone placement. All these grids are zones. So when you go to your building certain zones, it'll just make cleaner lots when you do it. If you just start paving streets willy-nilly at weird different angles, you're gonna end up with these empty spaces like right here. So anyway, where I don't have hearse garages, I can build another industrial zone area or whatnot. I'm going to utilize this space in between the lot. And if I try to like squeeze up next to the pillar, it's not enough space for anything to be built next to it anyway, so I don't care about having snap on right now. Here, I might be able to fit two, so I'm going to turn snap off. And then I'm going to place it as close to the pillar as I can and as close to the street as I can. And I'm going to come over here and place another one. See, now if I had snap on, I would not be able to fit both of them. Because it would place this one here. And then there might have not been enough room here. But there might have been. You don't, like, I don't know. Some guys, when they play this, they count out all the spaces. Like, oh, this building is this by this. And they have it all memorized so they know. Which is actually smart if you were to, you know, if you're actually doing city planning and you're paving down the streets in the beginning, that way you kind of know exactly how much space you need for a certain building and you can pave roads accordingly. Now, because of this off-ramp, I don't have enough room to put this extra hearse garage. And I just don't care that much. I don't need to have everything perfect. But it is nice to do. Now my computer's having a little... See, I'm just gonna edit every time that happens, so you guys aren't even gonna know when my computer glitches. So look at that. Conveniently, right inside the area, you know, and then right underneath the freeway still. So like all these ugly hearse garages, all the hauling of dead bodies, gonna happen right under the freeway. No one's gonna see or care. And why is it chopping so much? This is ridiculous. Okay. If you're having problems with latency and choppiness, your computer might be slow, but if you have a brand new computer like me, most likely it's in the options. You have to go in here, graphics, and then there's all sorts of settings. I think for my video card, balanced has been the best option. You can select maximum performance or ultra performance, and I don't know which one's better, but I've been using balanced. Maybe if I choose maximum performance, it'll do a lot better. And then there's a few other settings, but I have most things on medium. I did disable fog and clouds or I disabled fog because I don't care. I don't need to see fog. And then I disabled the cloud, or I put the clouds on low. I should just disable them right now because I don't care about clouds either. I don't care. Don't want to see them. I don't care. I'm not when I'm building, I don't really care like if the atmosphere looks perfect or great. But it is cool that they have the option. You can customize all this. You can do, you know, like, oh, I really want to see the reflections better, so you can put it on high. Oh, I really want to see the textures, the texture quality of everything. Okay, I have that on high. Level of detail, high. But animation, yeah, I don't really care. Like, the people walking around don't have to be excellent animation, so I put it on medium. But yeah, you can customize all this. It actually will make a difference. We will actually see if maximum performance is better than balanced. I don't know what suffers. It says that it enables or disables the The super resolution, dynamic resolution scale, and anti-aliasing settings are disabled. Huh. Well, that might be the problem. I don't know, but I've messed around with it. I haven't disabled it, but I'm gonna just put it on maximum performance for now and just see what happens. No, it seems like it's worse. Or it's not. It just needed to buffer. Okay. By the way, I'm just not even drinking my coffee. It got cold. It really happens, especially when I'm like really into the game. So now, in this neighborhood, I shouldn't have any, like that hearse should that should be gone, because there's literally a crematorium. Not literally, but there's a crematorium. No, there's literally a crematorium right down the street. So, like, I don't know how much closer I could get it unless it was like right across the street. The hearse should just be able to go boom, and then get over there and get that body. If you like this video and want to see more like this one, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment about the game and what you think about it. Also, if you want to see more, stay tuned and consider subscribing. See you next time!